Try both. Does that do time? No.
When you're ready.
Imagine you're driving down the New Jersey Turnpike at 75 miles per hour, and all of a sudden, your car just stops making noises. You hear a loud metal bang, and no matter what you do, you're pressing hard on the accelerator, and it's just not going anymore. You then at one point you panic. You're like, what am I going to do? You pull over the side of the road. Cars are still whizzing by you at 75 miles per hour. It's kind of a frightening experience. If any of you have ever had this happen to you, you know it never happens at a convenient time or a convenient place. Maybe you're late for your personalized doctor appointment, and you're going to get a personalized angry phone call. I interviewed Todd Saccone, who is he worked for BMW North America. He worked on the technician hotline. He gave BMW technicians help when they needed help installing or fixing a car. He says that timing belts are one of the most critical maintenance items you can do for your vehicle. Today we're going to talk about what a timing belt actually does in your vehicle, what are the consequences if you don't replace the timing belt, and some of the common replacement parts available on the market today. This is your basic timing belt system. The timing belt runs over the camshafts, which are up here, and the crankshaft. The crankshaft is a long metal rod that connects to and has little lobes on it, and they connect to your engine valves. Your engine valves are here. What they do is this is your cylinder of your engine. So when they say a 4-cylinder engine, you have 4 of these. If you have a V6, you have 6 of these. What the cylinders do is on the intake valve over here, they let fuel and air in through the cylinder. And once the combustion has happened, this valve opens up and it lets the waste come out, and it actually comes out to your exhaust system eventually. On your basic 4-stroke engine, you have first what happens is your intake valve opens and it lets air and fuel into your cylinder, and your piston goes down. The next step is compression, which is your fuel and air mix is compressed. The reason for this is because an explosion is more powerful under pressure. The spark plug ignites the fuel and pushes the piston down, and the next step is the piston comes back up, your exhaust valve opens, and the cycle then starts again. The important thing you need to know about this system is this is basically what gives the power to your car. If this system isn't functioning, your car isn't moving anymore. And it's all driven off of this little timing belt here. So you can see this is a very important component. If something was to go wrong, your timing belt was to snap, if any of the bearings were to break in the system, you would have a couple problems. First, you need to understand that there's 2 different kinds of engines. There's something called an interference engine and a freewheeling engine. A freewheeling engine is pretty much in cars that are from 2000 and older. And what that means is when the cylinder is all the way up in its top position, and if these valves are open, they won't hit each other. On an interference engine, what that means is if the cylinder, the piston is in the top position, the valves will strike the piston. When the valves strike the piston, you get bent valves, which means that if your technician knows you have bent valves, you're going to have to take your engine apart into 2 pieces. And you're talking about $2,000 to $3,000 worth of work right there. But once you take your engine apart and you see your pistons there's actually little marks on these pistons here, that means you pretty much need to get a whole new engine to the vehicle. Engines can cost as much as $7,000 to $8,000. If you were to do the timing belt job when your car manual suggests you do it, it's only about $500 to $700. So talk about being penny wise and dull foolish on this aspect. There are 3 different kinds of main components or main replacement parts out on the market today. And the first one is you can buy just a timing belt and you can replace just the timing belt. The problem with doing that is if the water pump seizes, if the tensioner, which keeps tension on the timing belt, if those bearings seize, it's going to rip your timing belt anyway, and you did all that work to get into that engine, then nothing was accomplished. The second option is your timing belt kit, which comes with your timing belt, your tensioner, and your idlers. Again, this is a much better idea than what you did with just timing belt. The problem is you still have this component, which is the water pump, and you still have this component called the hydraulic damper, which that basically just also helps tension the belt, that weren't replaced. Those components can still seize and they can still destroy your timing belt. The best option out there in the market today is what we call a timing belt kit with the water pump, and that's going to come with the timing belt, the tensioners, the idlers, the hydraulic damper, and the water pump. This way you get all your components replaced and you have nothing to worry about for the rest of until your next minor change or full change. The important thing to note about this is you need to make sure that you go to an ASE certified technician. This isn't a do-it-yourselfer's dream. This is terrible for brakes. And you need to make sure you're using quality parts, preferably by someone who supplies Audi, Volkswagen, and Mercedes. And examples of companies are companies called Gates, ContiTech, or another company called Eisen. Also important in the timing belt system to note is that the components, when you get them all together in a kit, they aren't that expensive. The expensive part is the labor for this kit. So to get into this job, it's going to take about 3 to 4 hours of labor. On some Passats and other vehicles, you have to take the whole front bumper off the vehicle. It's a lot of work. Wiring there, you might as well just do everything and save yourself going in there again. In conclusion, timing belts are some of the most important maintenance you can do on your vehicle. Replacing them is key to keeping your engine running properly, keeping your engine running safely, and preventing you from breaking down on the side of the road when you're running around at 75 miles per hour. Thank you.